So this is my outdoor composting setup. I have two large composters and then another experiment. I bought these garbage bins, only $16, and drilled holes in the bottom, so they are basically the same thing. And I've inoculated the area with compost worms. So if you bury underneath, everywhere there's thousands of them. So that's beneficial to help break down the food. They also distribute everything, and if the compost bins get too hot, they can escape into the cooler soil. This one has operated first. You can see there's lots of worms everywhere. And I've mixed urban composter waste with lots of yard waste, some soil, in an even mixture. It's almost on its way, but there's still lots of large pieces, in there. But it's definitely majority broken down, and the worms come up inside and do their thing. I used this to mix it and sell this on the website, so you can sort of fill down and mix it up, add oxygen. It's quite a handy tool. But yeah, this one's been slightly slower as I've used more traditional composting method, but it's still doing pretty well. These two, I've just added composter waste and soil. This one has done quite well. So it was full to the brim and it's dropped down all the way. This is really crumbly black worm castings, really. There's still tons of worms in there, but most of the food's completely gone. There's just remnants of, the avocado shell, and all these little yellow dots, if you can see them, are like that thing there. They're worm cocoons. So they've laid tons of eggs. So this one's pretty much nearly done. It's been going since January, and it's now March. So you could use that directly, or I'd probably filter it with a sieve, or you can just leave it longer. Once the food's gone, the worms will leave out into the soil and go somewhere else. So that's quite a successful bin. This one's the same, but it's more wet. So I didn't use as much soil, and it's still in a state of decomposition. So a little bit more of a smell. It because it's wetter, it did attract more soldier fly larvae. So they you can see it's really wet. There were tons of them underneath, so I just moved some. You can see they went down. Yeah, tons of them. They're not bad, but obviously not ideal. So I reckon this would have worked better if it had better drainage. The holes at the bottom are probably clogged, and more carbon material, but it's still working fine. I mean, I reckon give that another month and it'll resemble that one more. So yeah, sort of added the composter waste, soil, and just let it do its thing, and then start a new bin. This one's working quite well, more like a worm. So I'm adding composter waste, a bit of soil, and good carbon material. So this is a piece of calico I had and some cardboard. but they love the cardboard and the food. Like, oh yeah, the worms are going nuts. So what I'm gonna do is just keep layering. So I've got some dead leaves there as well, and that's bioplastic that can break down. So what I'm gonna do is add some stuff. So this urban composter is drained and ready. You can see all that white mold growing everywhere. That means it's fermented. I'm gonna add that to the composter. Smells nice and sweet. Drain. And then I can spread it out a bit because you don't want a giant clump of food waste. Spread out that layer. It smells quite sweet actually. Then I'm going to add some soil. So this is just cheap potting mix. It's got lots of carbon in it, so that's good at neutralising it. So you want enough to sort of cover it. You don't want a giant lump of fermented waste. That's going to go a bit smelly and attract more of the bugs. So I've done one layer quite broadly. Probably don't need as much soil as I've added, but it speeds things up. And then I'm going to cover that with a carbon source. So this was a cardboard box, bought it back from Aldi, cut it up into pieces and I've soaked it. So I'm going to add that carbon layer. It also acts like a blanket. So before this one I added that calico. You can use like an old t-shirt as well. So recycle your old clothing. The worms and bugs will eat it all and it balances everything out. You don't want too much nitrogen. So if you're only putting the fermented waste in here, it's gonna go a bit smelly. And then you want to make sure that's moist as well, so you can occasionally pour some water on it, but that should start to break down quickly. The worms will move up. They've also got that buffer between each layer because they obviously don't like the acid at first, but they'll love that. So I think this technique is going to work quite well. Layering that up. You don't really need to stir that as much either, whereas these two are sort of filled up with soil to the brim pretty quickly and then just left. So you'll get that great result after a few months. Yeah, and that's the garden.